It's like, I think sometimes you can get so busy doing the busy work that you actually can get worse at the things that matter the most because you run out of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you run out of time.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Okay, we're back talking about the topic of mom guilt and what that looks like and some practical ideas on how to help with that.
Hey, by the way, what is a houseware?
Oh, no. I don't know.
Address.
Oh. Oh my God. I think pretty soon we're going to have a whole thing and you can bring out all your best jokes.
These are great. They're all good.
No, but like a day where we just let you sit here and
just tell jokes?
Yeah.
Oh. Are you going to bring some?
No, I'm going to have the kids come for that session.
Let me tell the duck joke.
I'd come for the duck joke.
We'll release the duck joke at some point.
That's a good one.
Keep it for special occasions for sure. Why are toilets always good at poker?
I have no idea.
They always get a flush.
Oh my gosh.
That one's a little bad.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
That was not it.
All right, so let's talk about practical things moms can do to eliminate or at least minimize some mom guilt. I don't know if it's ever going to go away fully because it's just you're wired to be your kid's greatest protector, their greatest comforter. It's like how God made you, you know? Like I'm way more wired to be like the provider. I should say the provider and ultimately like the defender, the one that's protecting the perimeter, if you will. You're the one that's designed to like be right there, the most comforting, the one they can always go to in every single moment, right? And I love that God made us this way. He made us this way. And so, let's talk about some practical things.
But I think you even saying that is big because I remember like maybe a couple of years ago, you said with our first 5, you didn't really understand that rule. You know what I mean? That like many times you didn't understand why they maybe wanted to come to me for more of that thing.
That is true. I mean, because, we're kind of new to being a parent and, you can almost start thinking like, oh, am I doing something wrong? Why they are so much more wanting to go to you, like, and versus me. I mean, am I not loving enough? Am I not, whatever? Like you name it, and then you just learn more and more about just how God made us, right? And you realize that this is actually by design. I wasn't doing anything wrong, It's just the way that they are, and it's neat even watching the transitions happen a little bit. Because I'm starting to see it in Drews a little bit. He's 12 going on 13. And in the past probably year to 2 years, there's been a little bit of a shift. Like he's going from being a boy who wants to be on his mom's lap all the time into, Dad, can I go with you and do this? Dad, can we go do? It's like he's starting to have this desire for me to start teaching him how to be a man.
Sure.
And it's just natural, right? And so anyways, but God made us this way. But let's stay on what we want to talk about here, which is, what are just some like very practical, even maybe some simple things that you do or you think other people could do in order to keep yourself in the state of mind where you don't get too overwhelmed, you don't feel too much guilt, it doesn't get too built up. I can think of a couple things that you've done that have been pretty effective for you. Like number one is
one thing I think though is husband and wives talking about it. You know what I mean? Like I gotta tell you, like, and not belittling it or making it seem like, hon, like you're doing great, don't worry about it type thing. That doesn't help. You know what I mean? Because when it really is something that's in your head, like you need your husband to sit there and listen and hear what's going on and how to support you.
Let's talk about that real quick. Okay?
Yeah, because I think that's
so you come
key.
to me at the end of the night and you tell me about one of our kids not, running the dishwasher or whatever, and it's frustrating, or something else wasn't done, or things piled up all day that are behind and you're feeling, and then you got mad and then you kind of went too far. Then now you're feeling bad about that and you want to talk to me about it. So what do you want me to do? What do you think a husband needs to do in that moment?
Yeah. So I think to back it up, like I come to you, I say, hey, XYZ happened today. And, I feel bad because I started getting upset, and next thing I knew I was like blowing up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, well, typically, because you know me, you're like, honey, like, first of all, like.
Well, the natural response, I think, for all of us guys is going to be, this again is by design. It's we instantly start having solutions pop into our head. Like, well, this is how we can fix this. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that, mm-hmm. Instead of, and I don't think that's really what you need right at that moment, right?
No, typically you're like, paying attention from it. Like, you're like, okay, wait, explain to me one more time. What happened?
Yeah.
And because, sometimes I'll come to you and be like, oh my gosh, I lost it today. I feel so bad. I did, and at first you're maybe not as tuned in. And then you're like, wait, honey, what? And it's like, I re-explain it to you and you're like, okay, well, like, let's slow down. You're a fabulous mom. And you like, give me like.
So first step, put the phone down, stop doing other stuff while I'm half listening to what you're doing. Make it, don't be like, okay, she's just kind of complaining tonight about something, whatever.
Right.
Or that it's not important, but actually make you feel heard.
Right.
Right. And that's first thing. Yeah.
And then after that, it's kind of like, honey, you're a great mom. Can I just remind you? You know what I mean? And you tell me like the most recent things I've done. You don't try to remember things that I did 5 years ago or something like that. You're like, okay, you're an amazing mom. You took the kids to do this.
So help remind you of all the things you're doing right.
But you do the recent ones.
But while you're sitting there and can't get your head off the couple things you feel like you did wrong.
But it's like, I think the most important part again is like, it's the recent things. It's mm-hmm. the things that like maybe I do every day that I just do it and I don't even think they're amazing. I just do it because that's what I do for our family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you're like reminding me of those things that you've seen me, you recognize me, I'm a great mom. And then and you're like, okay, so let me get this straight. And then you'll go into, so you asked them to take care of the dishes. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And like, they weren't really paying attention, which, after a long day of helping with this and that, and mm-hmm. you're like, okay, so let's get this straight. You just remind me like, so you attempted to try to do this in the most peaceful way. Like you asked 2 and 3 and 4 times, like I always do. And then nobody was paying attention. And then finally I kind of was like, guys, like, do you guys not care? Like I started getting upset. Yeah. And my voice started raising. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm screaming like I'm on a megaphone. I mean, like, and you'll remind me, okay, what you were saying was actually right. They should have been doing blank, And you like never yell like that. Like, stop beating yourself up. Like, okay, did you tell me you were sorry? Yeah, I told him like 5 times. Okay, well then you probably don't need to say it again. You know what I mean? Well, what'd they say when you apologized? Well, they said forgiven and forgotten, and then I started crying. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, then they forgave you, And I'm like, I know, but I just feel so bad. I don't know how I'm going to go to bed tonight with it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm giving the example of the sink, but that's just one example. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It can go like when I lose it because nobody's getting in the car and when I say lose it, I'm not sitting there like yelling my head off and stuff like that. My peaceful demeanor disappeared and I'm starting to get frustrated because I'm not, and it's like, and then at that point you'll remind me again, like, okay, now you just got to forgive yourself, hon. Like you got to realize you're an amazing mom again, And I think just those little reminders in those situations really help you as a mom to realize, like, first of all, we're all going to make mistakes. Like, we're living together every single day in the home, living life together. Yeah. There's not a break, like, unless you go on vacation from each other. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that's normal. Yeah. How we handle it and get over it is what's important.
Right.
So
that's really good. So us talking, hopefully you guys are paying attention. Right. Because I for sure haven't done this right all the time. I think for a long time, I would just go into fix-it mode. Okay, let's come up with solutions. So wait, this happened. All right, let's just go to. And I didn't even listen to you really, and it didn't help you. And you know what? I've learned, because we just talk about this stuff a lot, and I've learned to do the things that you just described, like actually really be present, really hear you, remind you of things you're doing great when you can't remember at the moment. Just kind of like, and one thing I like to do even then is like, okay, so do you want to talk through some solutions, or do you want to do that like tomorrow or something?
Or you'll ask me even like, well, like, Jackie, what would help you? Yeah. So in the future, what would help with this?
Yeah, instead of just like saying, well, you should do this.
Right.
Or you should do that.
Because this is my area of like loving and serving. And so like, I probably have some ideas.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like upset in that situation.
Yeah.
And so it's
I think one of the worst things you can do, and I've done this, I'm sorry, by the way, is, I can come in, I think guys can come in and just kind of be like, almost look at what you were doing. And it's so easy to almost think, well, I would have done that different.
Yeah.
Right. But that's probably the last thing you need to hear, you know, because if anything, that just adds almost like, so you do think I'm doing things wrong. Right. Instead of, but the reality is I'm not doing it. And the way you want to do it is the right way, for you. And I just need to like help support you. So even instead of giving you solutions, asking the question, like, what would help you?
Right.
That way you're kind of coming up with a solution. I'm just helping you navigate it. And then I can support it.
Right.
Right. So
that's like just one example of how to help in some basic situation like that.
Yeah.
I think longer term, some things that are helpful to help with mom guilt is for us, like, I still wanted to be able to go and enjoy certain things. So having help around the house was really important to us. You know what I mean? That didn't mean I was failing. It didn't mean I couldn't handle it. It didn't mean that I was doing something wrong or that, I wasn't being a good mom. But like when I say wanting some help, yes, I want somebody to come in and help take care of some of the things like make meals, clean up the house, you know what I mean? Be available on a consistent basis for me to be able to get out of the house, maybe 3 or 4 days a week to go work out and get some time by myself and not have to, be completely in mom mode at that moment. Like I needed a break so that I could come back and be refreshed and be a better mom. You know what I mean? Like just sucking it up and never having a moment for yourself doesn't make you a hero. Today some people, well, I feel guilty if I need to hire somebody to come clean the house, or I feel guilty if I need somebody to come be a tutor for my kids because we homeschool, or I feel guilty that I need somebody to come in and help, organize the meals and groceries and stuff like that. But that guilt comes from you thinking that like you have to do all this work and that makes you the best mom. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ask somebody to come in and love on my kids like I love on my kids and to be there for their everything. But I really needed somebody to come in to, like, help with those situations. When you have as many young kids as we did and as many endeavors as we have going on at any given time, that was a need for us at the time. And to help make that happen, I think was so important. Like first, when you even asked, this was one of your solutions, like, hon, do you think we need to hire somebody to come in and help, just Monday through Friday so you can get out for a while? And when I come in, no, I can handle it. Like, why can't I handle this? Why other moms did it before? Your mom did it. My mom did it. Why can't I handle this?
Yep.
And not be like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You probably should be able to, but you can't. You know what I mean? Like, that was not our conversation at all. It was, hey, we're not talking about your mom and we're not talking about my mom.
Yeah.
We're talking about our situation.
I agree. And one of the parts of this I think that's really big is because we do so much business coaching and consulting. We've built businesses and we've learned a lot through that. We've applied a lot of the strategy that we train and coach and apply that have helped our businesses run super well. And because when you're a leader in a business and you have tasks and objectives to accomplish, well, you can't do everything, right? And the more you try to do everything, the smaller your business is going to be, the less healthy it's probably going to be.
Right.
And so even in the house, it's like, okay, when we strategically think this through as a mom, what are the most important things that you need to do that only you can do?
Right.
Those are the things you got to get great at. This is like equipping your kids, disciplining, encouraging, loving on them, right? All those things that matter for us stewarding God's children.
Correct.
Because it's our job to be the manager, not the owner of our kids. And so you taking time to make sure that you are in the best state you can be to do those things. Now, what's the other tasks? Because all the other stuff has to happen too. I got to clean the house. I got to do laundry. I got to make meals. All this kind of stuff. Now, if somebody else does that stuff, does that affect at all our children's, development? And the answer is no.
No.
If somebody else does the other stuff I just mentioned, and they're not the mom or the dad, then now you're not raising your kids as healthy as you could be, right?
Right.
So in other words, like, I think sometimes you can get so busy doing the busy work that you actually can get worse at the things that matter the most because you run out of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you run out of
Jinx.
time. And
It'll make Coke.
you run out of time, and then you're exhausted, and you don't have the energy to be able to pour into your kids when it's time to teach them and love them and encourage them.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. We kind of sat down and talked about that first. Mm-hmm. And then we went into a whole mode on what's that look like to hire somebody. And so we went through really figuring that out for us. Who do we want in our house? Who do we want our children around? Who, you know what I mean? That, and we can get down that road someday talking about the importance of finding the right person to work in your home and the environment. But we did. We took a lot of time and did a lot of interviews to make that happen. And then from there, we were able to figure out, you know, what is it that you need, Jackie, to be able to still feel like you are thriving as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a daughter, you know, what do you need for that? And then also, what do our kids need so they're thriving? And we came up with like a solution that worked for us. And it kept changing as the kids got older and things changed, as, you know, as school started, as, you know, another baby came in, like whatever it may be, things changed. And we were willing to be flexible and change with it. But it was a consistent working environment for us where we kept working it out and figuring out what was best, you know? And with that then came some better solutions on how to manage those kind of things. The next part that we worked on was like even just the non-guilt feeling, working through the non-guilt.
So let's take the next episode and let's talk that through.
Great.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.